Yeah, so this is my first year competing in the tactical games. I'd obviously heard of it for like the past year and a half or so and decided this is what I wanted to go try. This was the first year where I decided to retire from CrossFit, try other ventures, this being one venture that I'm gonna be with for a long time. The tactical games, the nice part is it's about 50% fitness, obviously 50% shooting, and obviously for the 50% of that's fitness, I'm fantastic at. And so the learning curve, the hardest part for me has been learning, in my mind, like a skill, which is shooting. And like we've talked about before, like the shooting in this sport is competitive shooting. It's not like I've shot my whole life, but like me shooting a bolt action rifle at a deer where I don't know what holdovers even means is different than what we're doing here. Manipulations, shooting for time, shooting fast, like that's all a whole new world to me. So it's gonna be a learning curve probably honestly throughout the rest of my career doing this. But I'm excited to jump in, and I have good people around me that are willing to teach me, and it's exciting for the future. I quickly realized after my first one, there were a lot of huge gaps I had not trained for because I hadn't been to one. A lot of them were long distance rifle shooting, honestly rifle shooting in general, and also, honestly, it was pretty much everything shooting I had to work on since Utah leading into Texas. And obviously we fixed a few things leading into Texas, then you find more gaps you have to fix. You fix some of those before Phoenix and you find more gaps, and it's just a continual process of learning and adjusting things. Most people will ask me, they'll be like, hey, I'm doing my first tactical games, like what do I need? Like I have a rifle and a pistol, but what do I need? And my usual response is just show up. Like, first of all, sign up, because most people will be like, oh, I never signed up, and they'll just never show up. Like sign up, you can shoot your concealed carry pistol and just a stock rifle, and that's totally fine, but show up, don't go buy something. First try one and then realize, okay, just take a step back and say, no, what do I need to change about this? So I think for like new people who show up at the tactical games, like what they need to focus on is your gear is important. Like what you run is important, but you're gonna run different gear than me because you have a different body type. You shoot a different way, maybe you're left-handed, whatever the case may be. You're gonna shoot different from me. But I think the part that is a thread line through everything is like the most important thing I think for tactical games is your experience and also the skills you learn. You could give some of the top guys a subpar weapon and they probably would still outshoot most of the field. Like gear's important, and it absolutely is. A good pistol's great, but the experience, the skills, the time that you've spent at home is probably the most important thing in the whole sport. During the off season of CrossFit, going into the season that usually starts in February, it would be like, I have 6 months to really attack these things, whether it's I'm not good at deadlift, I'm not good at snatch, whatever the case it is, and try to break those down and make it into a strength. So for this sport specifically, after Utah, when I realized, hey, I'm not good at a laundry list of items, honestly. And then every competition from there on out, you would realize more things to add to that list because you didn't use those implements. So for Utah, it was like I couldn't shoot really well far. And then in Texas, it was like, oh, I can't shoot off of a VTAC or a tank trap really well. And you just add to that list. And so I would go home at the end of every competition and get a notepad out or a blank sheet of paper and say, what are my to-dos? Like, how do I get better at each specific thing? How do I take each item that I wasn't good at and then branch it and say, how do I improve on this? I'm not gonna sit here and say, I'm gonna win nationals. Like everyone can say that, but like you really have to look inward and think to yourself, what am I capable of doing? For me, the goal going into nationals, podium. I would absolutely love the podium. Am I capable? I think so. I think a lot of us are playing for second or third, but I'd love the podium on here. And then give me a whole year where I'm not learning a whole different sport in 6 months, and let me just focus on this sport, and we'll win it next year.